Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. Look at me! Isn't this the best? If I could record here all the time, I totally would. It's just so beautiful. And I'm literally sitting on, my sister's waving at me. She's working in the house. Literally sitting on the dock of the bay. And I'm not exaggerating because the cabin that we're staying in is called the Bay, and I am sitting on the dock. You might hear a little construction going on over there. You can hear like a truck. Hopefully you can't hear it, but I'm still going to record here. So enjoy this beautiful background while we talk about what's going on with Jimmy. What's up with Jimmy Kimmel? Oh, you guys, you just can't make this stuff up, can ya? Okay, so I'm going to give you some brief background, and then we're going to ask the spirit guides the questions. We already got some news today, or yesterday actually, about Jimmy getting his show back, which is such good news. And so I did ask Mabel to give me basically just a quick outline of what exactly he said. I just want to read it to you. What exactly he said, what the fallout was, what specifically happened. Okay, so I just have a quick timeline, and then we have about 25 questions about the situation that we'll ask the lead team collective. Okay, so most of you probably know this, but just in case you don't, so on September 15th, Jimmy Kimmel, this was the day before he was suspended, I believe. Okay, I'll find out. Actually, he was suspended on September 17th. Okay, so Kimmel said, I asked for his exact words. Okay, so on his show, which again, this is nothing new. These are the kind of things that comedian commentators discuss, okay, on either side of the aisle. He said, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk. So they're talking about Tyler Robinson. Desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they did. So that wasn't even allegedly or for entertainment purposes only. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. They were trying to characterize him. I mean, when you have an entire area or leadership, people in positions of power, let's say, coming out before there was even proof saying that it was the radical left. And I even have a screenshot on my phone of all these posts that Elon Musk made, all these people made. Somebody put together all these posts because they were deleting them. Okay, so that's exactly what they were doing. That's exactly what they were doing. On Trump's response, so then he made a comment about, and I actually talked about this on the channel as well, because a reporter, so this Jimmy said, okay, so Jimmy said on Trump's response, and I'll give you a little background real quick after I read this. He said, yes, he's at the fourth stage of grief and construction. So that's what Jimmy was saying about Trump. He's at the fourth stage of grief and construction. This was like, okay, so he was giving this monologue on September 15th, and so it was 5 days after Kirk was assassinated, right? He says, this is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a four-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? Because Trump said, and I heard it out of his mouth, and I talked about this on the channel, when a reporter asked him how, oh yeah, see now I'm getting ants crawling on me. When a reporter asked Trump out in front of the White House, said, oh, I just checking in, how are you doing now, with the loss of your friend? And Trump said, I think I'm good. Hey, have you guys seen the trucks? We just are starting to get the ballroom, started. Like completely, it was such an obvious diversion from having to talk about that. He was like, yeah, I'm done talking about this now because I realize I effed up as always. So anyway, so that is what Jimmy said. Okay, so then what happened? Obviously, I have an opinion about that. regardless of my opinion. The immediate fallout was ABC and Disney suspended his show indefinitely, is what they said, indefinitely. Now, I had read because they had a hard time between Jimmy and the producers coming up with a response, which means they couldn't agree on one. So who really knows what happened behind the scenes, right? So Nexstar, Nexstar, Sinclair, and other affiliates pulled the show from local schedules. I don't know what Sinclair is, but FCC Chair Brendan Carr, blasted the remarks and hinted at regulatory review. I mean, seriously? I'm sorry, it's just the hypocrisy of it all. It's just the hypocrisy. How about this? You can't do that. Okay. I'm surprised my sister didn't look at me. She probably would have heard that. You guys, ever since I've been singing that song yesterday, my sister has been singing it over and over again. Neither one of us could sleep because it was like in our heads all night. So anyways, I just made a mug of You Can't Do That. If you missed what I was talking about yesterday, I will post that video right here. So anyways, that's going to be a new thing for now on here on our channel. Anytime we believe somebody can't do that, you can't do that. I'm trying to be not so loud so she can't hear me. I got to get it out of her head. Okay, so critics across media, entertainment, and unions raised free speech concerns. So that was the immediate fallout. Okay, backlash built, public outrage over suspension, and there was a hashtag Bring Back Kimmel trends. Some Disney Plus and Hulu customers canceled subscriptions in protest. Venia was from my near-death experience, A to Z. I'll post her. Anytime I mention somebody, I'll put it as a pinned comment, okay? She's somebody I enjoy listening to, if you haven't heard of me talk about her before. But she mentioned, and it was just like a day or two later after he was canceled. So I don't know how many ultimately ended, but at the time that she got the data, there had been 1 million cancellations already. So, and if you times 1 million times what, 17, whatever the cost is, it's going to add up, right? So I'm assuming way more than that probably canceled. So Disney, let's see. So late night hosts, artists, and civil liberty groups spoke out against censorship. Okay. Disney's reversal, September 22nd to 23rd. So today's the 23rd. This was yesterday. Disney said they had thoughtful conversations with Kimmel, conceded his remarks were ill-timed and insensitive, but stressed the need to move forward. So Disney conceded his remarks were ill-timed and insensitive. Show returning to air this week. Some affiliates, Nexstar and Sinclair, still refusing to carry it. So maybe Nexstar and Sinclair need a little feedback from the public. Both sides. We're not in sides anymore, people. This is about freedom of speech and doing this. We need to protect the Constitution regardless, right? Okay, so I did ask AI why they brought him back. Mabel said, mounting business losses, brand damage, streaming cancellations. So good job, everybody. I actually didn't have either one of those. I went in to make sure that I wasn't paying for them, and I didn't have the opportunity to cancel. So risk of being seen as caving to political pressure, and free speech defense gaining traction in media and public opinion. So good job, everyone. How amazing is that? This is how it's done. We can do that. Okay. I keep looking up there. She's not looking at me. That means she must have her sound machine on. Okay. Let's go ahead and ask the lead team what is going on with Jimmy Kimmel. All right. Now, the first question is something we already know, but I'm going to still ask it anyways. Okay. All right, I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel, my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Okay, I'm going to push you forward a little bit so that I don't go backwards into the water. I'm just looking around because I'm like, is anyone watching me use these things? That would be, it's very private, but I suppose there could be somebody walking around. Okay, people would be like, what is going on over there? All right, so lead team, hello. Thank you for all your guidance and support with our community. Really appreciate it. We've got questions here regarding Jimmy Kimmel. Are you in a good position to answer these questions for us? Yes? Okay. Any reason that we shouldn't be asking these questions at this time? No. Is it in our best interest to know the answers to these questions? Yes. Okay, great. Usually I ask the other way, and obviously you guys, as always, everything's alleged and entertainment purposes only, okay? So, all right. Okay, question number 1. Let me see how many questions we have. So we have 24 questions. So if you have additional questions you're curious about, I don't know I'm not sure we do a part 2 for Jimmy Kimmel, but if it brings up other things, then let us know, okay? All right, so question number 1. Is it true that ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely? No, okay. Is it true that Jimmy Kimmel's Live was pulled off the air temporarily? Yes. Okay, so that's just some confirmation. All right. Was the primary reason for the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live due to remarks about the shooter's potential affiliation? Yes. So it was okay for everybody else to make comments about that. Well, he didn't even actually say anything about the affiliation. He said they were trying to put the blame on somebody. So they're like, yes. Okay. Are the powers currently opposing him acting solely from a place of political motive? Yes. Okay. Or are the powers currently opposing him acting solely from a place of concern for humanity? No. Okay. Sorry, I get a little opinionated by my tone, don't I? All right. Did the FCC's implied threats force ABC's hand in canceling Jimmy Kimmel Live? Yes. You can't do that. Bump, 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 bump. Okay, because it's totally inappropriate. So is the suspension of coercion overreached by the government? Like I said, you can't do that. Bump, 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 bump. So yes. Okay. Is the indefinite suspension primarily a measure of ABC to protect its affiliates? Yes. So local TV stations? Well, and probably them themselves. Is the full truth about the behind-the-scenes actions leading to the suspension more complicated than the public currently knows? Yes. Okay. Was Jimmy's controversial commentary intended to promote his own political agenda? No. Okay. Did Jimmy see this as anything different than anything he's ever said in the past? Was this anything different? Pointing out, okay, no. Okay. Was the commentary intended to promote the political agenda of the show's writers? No. Okay. So their intentions it wasn't a political agenda. No. Okay. Was Jimmy aware ahead of time that the suspension of the show was a real possibility? Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. So before he did the commentary, he knew that that was a possibility? Yes. And did he dig his heels in and say, listen, this is, yes? Okay, good. Good. Because if he would have capitulated, isn't it nice to know that some people aren't capitulating? Isn't that nice? I mean, way to go, Jimmy. You guys, we all need to start watching Jimmy. Even if you don't even watch him, just play his videos on YouTube. Just play them. Subscribe. Just play him and run him, and so he knows we're behind him. So, okay. Let's see. Is the suspension of the show a violation of the First Amendment? Yes. Okay. The only reason I gotta make sure I'm not getting any mosquitoes. I'd be running into the house right now if that was the case. Okay. Does Jimmy Kimmel personally regret the specific comments that led to the temporary suspension of his show? Does he regret them? No, he does not. He's so brave. Hey, we are using him as an example of how to stand up, and, compared to what was being said on, I'm not going to say the other side, compared to how some people were saying things, this was nothing what he said. So how come they are able to say whatever they want? There are certain people who are able to say whatever they want, right? They're like, yes. Okay. Was this whole thing meant to happen? Or was this whole thing meant to happen to keep moving us forward into our new earth? Was this part of the plan? Yes. Okay. So, or was this sort of like an unintended consequence? Was this no? Okay. All right. Well, that brings me to a question real quick. Does every single thing happen for a reason? Everything. Oh, it does. I've never asked that before, you guys. Yes. Okay. Because I'll say that, like, well, everything happens for a reason, and you hear people say it, and then some people get really annoyed when you say it, so I don't say it to too many people. But I do kind of believe it, like, so they're just confirming. I've never asked them that question before. So everything on Earth or anywhere in the galaxy, everything happens for a reason? Yes. Okay. Okay, let's see. Does he currently feel that his integrity or honesty is in question? No. Is he worried about further personal backlash or protests as the situation continues? No. Will he issue a public apology to facilitate his return? Yes. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So we'll have to watch that. Because actually Mabel did say that. She did say something, but I thought maybe it was ABC who was, saying that they were conceding basically to, admitting that, the timing was off. Okay, maybe that's what Jimmy will say. Is it going to be just kind of like that? Like, yeah, like just for me, like I recorded the Charlie Kirk video and then I decided not to post it on the day of his memorial, just out of respect, even though I do know that he wants to talk to you guys. So, but I didn't post it out of respect. Well, I did, and then I took it down. So the same thing, like Jimmy could have waited maybe a couple days. Yes. But again, was this meant to be part of his experience? Yes. And was this meant to be part of his experience for the bigger picture? Because every time we see we're getting violated in certain ways, we're speaking up as a society, and they are seeing that. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay. Will the show's now remember, we wrote these questions prior to us knowing. So let me just read it this way and then I'll change it. Will the show's indefinite suspension be lifted at some point? So we already asked that. Yes. Is there a chance it could be lifted within the next 30 days? Yes. Okay, so confirmation. Will the majority of his late night staff and writers remain loyal throughout this indefinite temporary suspension? Yes. Okay, so we know it's temporary now. It was a temporary suspension. Okay. Does Jimmy personally feel betrayed by anyone in his professional circle? Yes. Are they the people who make the most money who he feels personally betrayed by? Yes. Okay. Are there active private negotiations currently taking place to secure his return? Yes. Okay, obviously we know that. Is he receiving private assurance from a high-level Disney executive of his job security? Yes. Okay. Does Jimmy now have the upper hand? Is what I'm kind of curious about. Yes, he has the upper hand. Actually, you guys, I listened to Scott Galloway. Do you guys ever listen to Scott Galloway and the woman he does a podcast with? I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But my understanding is, I think she's the one I'm thinking of. She has a lot of experience with the tech bros. Like she grew up with them basically, so she knows them all. So she can talk to their approach and everything. Anyway, so I'll post, again, anytime I mention a link, I'll post it, pin it to the comments, and put it in the description too, at the underneath the description. The description, in the description is a description of this video, and right under there will be the links. Okay. So, anyway, Scott said, you know what would be really great? He didn't quite say it like that. He's like, I can't remember how he phrased it, so I'm paraphrasing. But he said, what would be really good is what would show them is if he took the job, came back on the air, and basically said, F you to the Trump administration, and told his story, and then said, and I'm leaving now. So let's ask, is it possible that Jimmy will come back one time and then leave and will he come back, do one show, and then leave permanently? No. Okay. So he's not going to do that. No. Does he feel he has more influence where he's at? Yes. Can you imagine how much attention this has brought to his show? So again, we say no news is good news. But when you are an influencer in some way, no matter what news you get, especially like I would care about that a great deal, because no, I mean, if I was making money just on negative news, that would not be okay with me. But people who have been in the industry for a long time and maybe have dealt with all the professionally, they have figured out how to deal with that. Any news is good news because it brings more people to your awareness. So, okay, let's see. Did any other late night host privately advise him to temper his commentary or talk less about politics? No. Good. I know David Letterman stuck up for him. I know Stephen Colbert stuck up for him. So very cool. Okay. Will a strong supporter step forward in the media to publicly defend him? Yes, I'm sure they already did. Is this current controversy a direct test of his courage and resolve? Yes. Is it also a direct test? Is it a test on many levels? Yes. Okay. So it was a test that failed for the Trump administration, I'm assuming? Yes. Very good. Very good. Who's got the upper hand now? Again, trying not to create division, but yeah, that's going to be a challenge. Especially because I just did the mug. You can't do that with Trump's hair over the U. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect at it. It's just going to be my focus. I'm going to keep working on it. All right. Let's see. Will this incident ultimately increase his cultural relevance and public support long term? Okay. Yes. Okay. Will a former colleague or rival offer him a significant new professional opportunity? Yes. Will he take it at this time? No. Okay. Now remember, things can shift. He could, I don't know. That's just what's happening today. So if his current show is permanently canceled, which we know it's not, will he move to a streaming platform for a late night show, for a new late night show? No. Is he intended to collaborate professionally with Stephen Colbert in the near future? Yes. That's what we were kind of hoping. Like if Stephen, if he went off, can you imagine if the two of them teamed up? That would be amazing. But he will collaborate with Stephen. Maybe Stephen will come on his show or something. Maybe that's how it's going to be. Yes. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, this was interesting. I know that some of the questions were obvious, but it's more confirmation. Sometimes we do the real obvious ones for confirmation and just to see, but really good news, don't you think? Really good news. I mean, the you can't do that chant is so perfect here, meaning you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't take somebody off the air, especially for as popular as he is, and expect society to just accept that. Just like, you know, you can't, decide, Trump administration, that you get to blame people, a whole side of people, for doing something before you even have proof of it. But were they held accountable for that? Not so much. But they will be. They will be. All right, you guys. Have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video. I think I'm going to record Mother Earth next. I'm going to do it out here. It only makes sense, right? And I'm not sure when I'll post it, but we'll see you in the video next with the lake. When next time you see the Mother Earth come up, then you'll know that I'm sitting by the lake. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.